I gotta be careful how I word this because I don't want no miscommunications. Do not come for me. But I'm genuinely curious. Like, as a black woman, of course, like, I notice a lot of non black women preference be black men. And I'm genuinely curious, like, as to why. This is no shade to black men. I'm just curious of, like, what specifically attracts you to them other than their looks. Like, because there's so many cultural differences and interracial dynamics, personality differences, like, things you're gonna have to learn to navigate along the way. And, like, it seems like a lot of learning and extra shit, like, that you have to put yourself through on a day to day. And I'm just curious as to why, like, black men is the standard for all races to, like, want to date. And don't say it's not because look at Hollywood. Like, it is. I'm just curious.
All right, welcome back. Now, I'm not sure when exactly this video came out, but most of the comments were made about 9 days ago, 8 days ago and 9 days ago. So at least here on YouTube, on this specific channel, okay, because this is clearly a TikTok video. It is a relatively new video on YouTube, okay? And of course, when I heard this, I'm like, nonsense. This is yet another lying Keisha. I believe she's lying and playing dumb. I'll explain why.
I gotta be careful how I word this because I don't want no miscommunications. Do not come for me. But I'm genuinely curious. Like, as a black woman, of course, like, I notice a lot of non black women preference be black men. And I'm genuinely curious, like, as to why. This is no shade to black men. I'm just curious of, like, what specifically attracts you to them other than their looks. Like,
what attracts you to black men other than our looks? What kind of question is that? There's nothing to be confused about if you ask me personally. There's nothing to be confused about because you're not asking this question about other interracial couples. Why are you only curious about women who prefer black men? Because plenty of you Keishas prefer white men. Some of you prefer Hispanic men. Some Asian women prefer white men. There's a long list of interracial couples. Why is this the only one that baffles you or confuses you? I don't believe she's confused at all. But what I do believe is that a lot of other black women feel her. Because I believe a lot of other black women, they've asked themselves this question. Why? Why do I think that? Because black women themselves look down on black men. They look at black men as inferiors, genetic inferiors. And when you look at someone that's genetically inferior, you're saying that they're inferior in all ways. To an extent, your genes, your DNA influences how you think. It influences your culture. Right? They've always looked at black men as the lowest denominator, as a step down. Or when they get with black men, they view it as settling. And they all, and I mean all with all capital letters, ALL, all of them look at it as a step up, a level up, to go from a black man to an Enrique, a black man to an Italian man, to a Russian man. It don't matter. As long as it's a Brad, they're going to think that they leveled up. They all think like this. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care how many Keishas you find on YouTube lying about it, saying what they think black men want to hear, or trying to be contrary. I don't want to hear none of these goofy Keishas. They all have an inferiority complex, period. Every one of them is touched with an inferiority complex. No exceptions. Ain't no exceptions, but not the rule. You know how you ain't gonna find that, not with these American Keishas. No. They look at us as inferiors. However, haven't these same Keishas always agreed that we're better in bed in general? Maybe that's one of the things that gets these non-black women addicted. You see, many of them have slept with several Asian men and brads. And maybe they see a difference. Okay? And, you can take it how you want. I won't call it sad or nothing like that. Because intimacy is an important part of relationships. If somebody's unsatisfied in the bedroom, there's a good chance they're going to cheat. That's just how it is. Whether it's the man or woman, there's a good chance they're going to cheat if they're unsatisfied. That's a big part of relationships today. Being able to satisfy your woman in the bedroom. And let me tell you, I've heard some horror stories. So I'm going to be jumping all over the place in this video. I'm not going to really stick to no one subject. Okay? They probably slept with all other kind of dudes. They see a difference. Okay? Intimacy is a huge part of relationships. That's just what it is. There ain't nothing. I don't think you still shouldn't be confused. Y'all should be smart enough to figure this out. Okay? And what I also sense about this is envy. Because they know that we marry interracial and date interracial far more often than them. Okay? The marriage rates is a reflection of the dating rates. And you would have to assume that the dating rates are much greater. So, also one night stand rates. These Keishas see these black men with these Beckys and these Marias. They get angry and jealous. And they, and it kind of, they get confused. You should only be confused for a couple seconds because they look at us as inferiors. But then you should be able to piece it together. But, they're not even that bright.
Because there's so many cultural differences and interracial dynamics, personality differences, like things you're gonna...
What? No, not really. The only difference is that white woman she's going to be accustomed to racism against blacks. Hearing it at home, maybe growing up with it, stuff like that. But for the most part, what I find with interracial couples, they have a lot in common. Because a lot of times they meet in like gyms, boxing gyms, mixed martial arts gyms. Quite oftentimes they meet on the job. So yeah, what's really confusing is why Brads would opt for Keishas, seeing that they got detachable hair. That's something to really wonder and be confused about, if you ask me. Why in the world would Brads date and marry a Keisha when these Keishas, they do things that Becky's don't? They transform. Becky don't really transform. She don't really transform. Becky stays the same for the most part, man. And trust me, I had a crazy mother, and I'm going to talk about this here in a minute. I had a crazy mother who did move us to an all-white school. Man, many of them Beckys don't even come to school with makeup on. No fake eyelashes, no nothing. They just come to school. They used to come to school with their bare face and they just comb their hair or whatever. They ain't detachable. So for a Brad to date a Keisha, that's a real reason to scratch your head. Like, huh? Don't you? And you notice many of these Brads can't take the detachable hair. They can't take the weave culture. They've said it. They've said it. So you ain't confused about why Becky's are getting with us. I think that's a projection. Because y'all know it's a mystery as to why Brads would get with y'all. I know some of y'all even asked the question, like, why are these Brads messing with us and we got whole detachable heads? A detachable face and detachable head. I mean, if you lose your whole head of hair and your whole head of hair transform, your head, you got a whole new head. Yeah, literally a detachable woman. Like, what do these Brads see in us? And you see what the Brads see is. They're not marrying y'all. Y'all not getting married like that. Y'all run around with this idea that they stay married to y'all longer than Becky stay married to us. What are y'all basing that on? 2, 3 marriages? Y'all not getting married. Y'all's marriage rate has never gone up. It's only been getting worse. Okay, so they're not marrying y'all. All they're doing is sleeping with you. That's it. And if they're not sleeping with you, they're unaliving you, leaving you chopped up, leaving your pieces, your body pieces scattered all over the vicinity. Huh? That's all they're doing with you. So, yet another projection. Yet another projection. Ain't no mystery as to why non-black women get. The mystery is when these non-black men get with y'all. With y'all's hateful attitude and all this kind of stuff. And we see that when y'all with these other men, y'all transform. Suddenly you got a white girl voice that y'all call white girl voice. Huh? We see what y'all got to do to even keep these men for a short period of time. You got to become a whole different woman, which is a lot of work. And then eventually your true Keisha self come out and y'all, break up. He leaves you. That's just what it is. So stop with the projection, please.
You have to learn to navigate along the way. And like it seems like a lot of learning. And
navigate? Ain't nothing to navigate. Ain't nothing to navigate. What you talking about? And stuff that's common among blacks, white people, they're not foreign to it. What we do? Have more barbecues? White people know what a barbecue is. Huh? What, we watch certain TV shows? These white people have seen them TV shows. Don't even know what you're talking about. Okay? And when it comes to history, what? The history of racism? You Keishas don't talk about racism and history like, what are you talking about? They kill me trying to project themselves as so pro-black, especially these divestors. Be trying to project themselves as so pro-black. Oh, it's truly disgusting, to be honest. If I'm being honest, it's disgusting to hear them. The swirlers and divestors claiming to be pro-black. You know what most of them do, right? We all know. They have mixed kids and they start calling their mixed kids black. My black son, my black kids, because I'm pro-black, I had black kids. I said years ago, man, that's what you're opening the door to by calling biracials black. You're going to get swirlers and divestors who have mixed kids and claim that they have black kids. So they're basically saying, hey, I'm helping to replenish the black population. I'm helping to keep black people in existence by having biracial kids. They're able to say that. If this ideology is biracials are black. Told y'all this was going to happen. And you see these divestors and swirlers, they're doing that. They're doing exactly that right now. And it's only, 14 years later. One thing about these Keishas. Wait a minute. let's finish this.
Extra shit like that you have to put yourself through on a day to day. And I'm just curious as to why.
No. Day to day is the weave. Y'all gotta reattach it, detach it, bond it, and all that kind of stuff on a day to day. Then those of you who are broke, you can't afford expensive weaves and wigs. So you gotta replace it like every 2 months. I know most black men don't know about this, but them they sell cheap wigs. They sell cheap wigs. And because they're so cheap, they only last for a month or two. So the goal for Keisha's, what they really want is virgin hair or that other yaki, that hair that still has the cuticles on it. That's what they want. But those types of weaves are a lot more expensive. They're a lot more expensive. So some of them are forced to only get the cheap ones. Now I want to show y'all something. I'm about to segue because I'm going to bring this all home. Keisha's obsession with Brad is fascinating to me. It's truly fascinating. Recently, I made a video talking about how they're willing to die. And they are. They're willing to die for Brad. They worship Brad that much. They have that much of an inferiority complex. Okay? That they are willing to die. They'll drive long distances where nobody in their family knows where they're going. And all the while, they're going to meet a Brad that they've met online or something. They're going to meet a Brad. And it has to dawn on them that this Brad could unalive them. We all know that they've heard it, and they've heard the reports. Ain't none of them that dumb. Ain't none of y'all that dumb. Y'all have heard all the reports about black women being unalived by non-black men, most of them being Brads. And they go to see these Brads anyway. And they're going just as strong as I speak as they always have. This was not the environment a few little decades, 2-3 decades ago. It wasn't. But their obsession with Brad is deep. I want y'all to look at this. What I want y'all to look at is the prices. You see $1,171 here. And you see what that says? 3X curly virgin. See, when they say virgin, that's real human hair. And that's all of these Keisha's goal. They all want human hair, but it's so expensive. A lot of times they're forced to get the synthetic hair, which can be mass produced in a factory. But real human hair has to be grown out from a human somewhere. And it has to be from a single donor. They generally want it from a single donor. It's pretty sick stuff once you get into it. You see these ridiculous prices. And what I want y'all to focus on is how it says, you see how it says 3 times right there? 2 times right there. and it's called a weft. W-E-F-T. A weft. Look at this. 3 hair bundles deal. 3 bundle deal. Now, some people wonder, like, I thought a bundle is just 1 bundle. No. If they want to get their hair done, the industry standard is to get 3 bundles. Or the 3 weft. Look at this. Peruvian hair, 3 hair weft. Oh, God. 3 hair weft. Wait a minute. Here. Okay. Wait a minute. Gotta put the human in there. Now you notice when you put the human in there, you have higher prices generally. Look like they might getting some deals here. Right? Hold up. Let me put the virgin in there. That's ridiculous. For hair. Hair is worthless. Let's just deal with the common sense of this. Like if you had a daughter and you were determined to teach her against this weave culture, what are some of the things you would do? Hair is worthless. It truly is. It's worthless. It's just hair. It can be regrown. Right? These women can regrow these entire heads of hair in like a year. Give them a year, they'll have hair down their back again. It's worthless. Do you really think it makes sense to spend all this money on hair? You really think that's a smart thing to do? Right? From an investment standpoint, you really think that's a smart thing to do? Spend up to $1,000. Wait a minute. Look at this now. Look at this. Look at that price. That's $1,256 for 4 times wavy version machine weft bundle deal. 4 easy payments of $314. These are the weaves that they all lust after, but really can't afford. Okay? They lust after it, but they really can't afford because it's just too much. It's too much. Look at this. $1,100. $1,100 here. You see? They sell it, they're giving them the 2 times, but that's not the industry standard is 3. So they really need another one. This 2 ain't gonna really be efficient. That's some serious obsession with another group of people's hair. That's unbelievable. Because if the only thing that should matter is whether or not you're attractive. Your face, whether or not you have an attractive face. Because if you're attractive, you're going to look good no matter what hairstyle you wear. That's one. Second of all, natural, for black people, natural hairstyles looks natural. The craziest thing about these Keishas is that they look unnatural. I don't care what they think or what goes on in their minds. They look like retards with this stuff on. Okay, so you look crazy. It completely does not match your face. This hairstyle, this hair does not match y'all's face. And y'all willing to look crazy anyways. That's another one. So you're looking mad goofy and you're spending a whole lot of money to look mad goofy and unnatural. Also being ignorant of the fact that a natural appearance, men value, we value that a lot. A natural appearance in a woman. That's why non-black women are so acceptable. And that's what gives them the edge over these Keishas. They look natural. Okay? This is like extra nasty. Now, back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, Keishas was mainly using hair weave. I mean, not weave, perms. Perms and straightening combs. Perms and straightening combs. They would use them in combination, really. They'll use a perm, and then, that won't be straight enough for them. So they'll run the straightening comb through it. Because what they were trying to do is get it as straight as Ling Ling's and Becky's. When Ling Ling and Becky get their hair done, it's bone straight. Right? And them Keishas, because they fried their hair, they literally fry it. That perm, it burns it. That, and the hot comb is what? That's literal heat. They put it on the stove. So after they fried their hair, excuse me, the hair, I've said this before, is stiff. It used to be stiff. You can still see some of them with them perms and straightening combs today. Their hair be stiff. It'll be straight, but it'll stand straight up in the air. It'll be straight, but if they put it in a ponytail, that hair is going to stick straight out. It ain't going to hang down and swing. You understand? And they did not like that, because when they looked at Becky's ponytail, it still hung and swung and flapped around everywhere. They didn't like those perms either, because it wouldn't make their hair lay down and swing like real hair does. So these Keishas said, you know what? Give me their real hair. I want their real and the whole head with the cuticles still on. This perming ain't, I don't like the perming because it don't look like Becky's. In the mind of a Keisha, Becky's hair being able to swing and flow and blow in the wind, in the mind of a Keisha, that's one of the main components of a Becky's beauty. Most men don't think about this stuff because it's girl stuff. In these Keisha's minds, that's a major component of Becky's beauty. It ain't enough just to have straight hair. It's got to swing and flow and blow in the wind. Them hair perms wasn't doing that. I'm telling you, the things was crunchy. These Keishas had crunchy, brittle, fried hair. It was fried and it behaved like it was fried, like it was burnt. You know how you burn something and now it's like a rock now. Guy, you get a piece of vegetable or something with some texture and flexibility, you burn it, set it on fire. It's going to be straight like a rock. That's how their hair was. And it looked mad crazy. Like if they would go, that's why they never used to like to go swimming. Oh, to mess my hair up. Yeah, they get out that pool and their hair be standing up like Don King. Right? That's one of the reasons why Don King's hair stood up like that. Hair be standing up like Don King. They'll be trying to push it down and drape it down. Oh, why can't it just lay down like Becky's? Man, this drove them crazy. So when the availability of real human hair came out, they blew that industry up. The weave industry thrives on, almost exclusively depends on Keishas for their income, for their gazillions of dollars. All over the world, global Keishas have sold into this. These women that makes them more addicted to Brad than Ling Ling. They're willing to do something no other group is doing to try to not only attract Brad, but to be a little Brad daughter themselves. That's all they're trying to do. They're trying to look like Brad's counterpart. They are so jealous of Becky. I really can't put that into words. I can't even articulate that. Can't even break that down. The jealousy and the worship of Becky, that needs to be studied. Studied by, and I bet you it will. After these Keishas have gone extinct, they're going to study Keisha's behavior. And they're going to view it and title it as behavior that will drive you into extinction. Self-hate 101. Inferiority complex 101. There used to be a people on this earth, a group of women who used to do this. That's what the history books are going to record. Now, I was about to tell y'all a story. Let me tell you about my mother. And this is why these Keishas make horrible parents. They have no fear of Brad. They view Brad as an angel. They view Brad as harmless. So I want black men, pay attention. Would you take your black son who has grown up in a heavily black populated city to the point where there was almost all blacks in their school? Would you move your teenage black son from that environment to an all-white school where they're the only black face in that school? Would any of y'all do that? Talking about getting them away from crime and all this stuff. Would y'all do that? Because there is no way I would do that. Those of you, do y'all remember high school? Back in them days, you were most likely to have a crew in high school. Everybody had a group of kids and classmates that they hung with outside of school. Primarily because, they would live close to them. I know the people I used to hang out with was also people who lived close to me. I would see them out playing basketball. Maybe we go to the same court or whatever. You're most likely to have an entourage and to have a bunch of people who going to have your back, even if they don't hang with you. They might be a basketball teammate or something. In an environment like that, you're less likely to be jumped. Would you move your black son to an all-white junior high and high school where if they got jumped, it would be a wrap? Ain't nobody jumping in to help them? And you can rest assured, they are not going to have no entourage. They are not going to have no group of homies who got their back in an all-white school. Keishas do this. And we've heard stories of young black men getting unalived, or they'll get badly beaten, okay? All out in these all-white enclaves where these white people never even seen a black person in person. Keishas are so psycho and obsessed with Brads and Beckys. My mother moved us to, it was such a bad idea. All of us eventually, within, I would say, 2 years, moved away. Before we even graduated high school, we moved away. Went back to live with family and relatives in Lima. Me, myself, I wanted somewhere blacker than Lima. I went to Cleveland. I went to Dayton. That's when I went to Job Corps. I'm like, man, I'm not living here. I had to be a one-man army in that school, man. Like, I had to really act like I had to be crazy in that school for people to leave me alone. All these other white boys, football players, they on the football team. You ain't got no chance in no school like that. You dumb Keishas be moving your sons in environments like that. Y'all retarded. You're retarded. High school boys are, you in your macho stage during that time in your life. You looking for fights. You looking to beat somebody up and build your reputation. I was always getting suspended because I was always getting in the fights. I could have gotten killed. And these dumb Keishas, y'all retarded, moving y'all kids, y'all sons in environments and your daughters. They ain't gonna have no crew once they move out there. They have no fear of these brads. Y'all just plumb retarded. Now let me show you something. Let me show you something here. Look at this. Now, first of all, this channel, Only Logical, shame on you, dude. Shame on you for stealing AC's, the things that he's made up and using it to grow your channel, and you never even mention the dude. Shame. That's really some dirtball behavior right there. Okay? I admit I got Keisha from him. He's the first one I heard say it. The Keisha. Keisha, I think Brad, but Kevin Samuels was saying using Enrique and Brad. But he's the first one I've heard use Keisha. Yeah, I got it from him. Why is it so? I'm sorry, man. That's just wrong. That's wrong. There's a lot I could say about that, but that's just wrong. But this dude's channel is unbelievable to me. The number of stories on TikTok, because I don't go to TikTok. So the influx of TikTok videos he have them on his channel. It's truly unbelievable. It's almost like every day, here's another divesting crazy Keisha. Obsessed with Brads, man. This is a serious mental. Listen to this.
One of these in forever, and I'm also running late, so I don't even know why I'm choosing today to do this. But I know you guys love them, so I'm gonna bring it back because I love to share my stories. Dating, there's definitely been trial and error, and I've definitely learned some things. I can give tips to my other Black queens that date in white areas or also have the type of like a white guy. It sucks, but you have to be okay to ask questions if you want to find the right guy and not waste your time. Because a lot of people may think Black girl's pretty, but when it comes to dating, it's a whole different story. So I think instead of asking, do you like them, it's, would you date a Black girl? And it sucks that you have to do that, but it saves you from a lot of wasted dating guys. You have to expect, they probably said the N-word.
Listen to how crazy this is. You might think a Black girl is pretty, but you wouldn't date them. Why wouldn't you date them? Because they're Black. So why would you want to date a dude like that? And listen, I want y'all to don't miss nothing that this crazy broad says.
Instead of asking, do you like them, it's, would you date a Black girl? And it sucks that you have to do that. Also have the type of like a white guy. It sucks, but you have to be okay to ask questions if you want to find the right guy and not waste your time. Because a lot of people may think Black girl's pretty, but
she's talking about Brads. I don't know why she said people.
When it comes to dating, it's a whole different story. So I think instead of asking,
because you're Black.
do you like them, it's, would you date a Black girl? And it sucks that you have to do that, but it saves you from a lot of wasted dating guys. You have to expect, they probably said the N-word like once, twice, probably 3 times. The man ever tells you never said it. That's a liar and you should not get with him.
Now, you heard what she said. I don't need to rewind that. She said these Brads, they've all used the N-word. They've all referred to Black people using the N-word.
Because let's be honest, like, I'm not gonna be mad at you that you did it.
What? You see how crazy, see how retarded they are? This is retardation. I mean, literally, y'all's brain is in a regressed state. Y'all really retarded. I'm not being sarcastic or just calling y'all name. Y'all's brain is in a regressed state. So much so that it's dysfunctional. And it winds y'all up in the grave all the time. Y'all retarded. Say it again, Keisha.
Mad at you that you did it.
You're not going to be mad at the Brad that he called black people the N-word.
That's a liar and you should not get with him. Because let's be honest, like I'm not going to be mad at you that you did it in the past. It's just what are you going to do now? How are you going to move now that we're together? How are you going to move now that you know me?
See, you heard that. Tell me that ain't retarded. You've called black people the N-word, but I forgive you. And the only thing that matters is how you treat me now. So basically, the only thing that matters is if you can restrain your racism when you're around me. That's basically what it is. Are you willing to hide your racism when you're around me? They're okay with this. They're okay. They're retarded. This sounds like a group of women who've generationally not had fathers. That's exactly what it sounds like. No wonder. Okay, I believe it. People say that, yep, you can hear it right here. You're retarded. Only thing that matters is if you treat me right as a Keisha. Don't call me the N-word to my face. That's basically what you're saying. Don't call other black people the N-word when I'm around. Can you do that for me, Brad? When I'm not around, you can have a ball with the N-word. Retarded. They walk right into danger. All because it's Brad. If there were this many red flags with black men, man, please.
The past, it's just what are you going to do now? How are you going to move now that we're together? How are you going to move now that you know me? Because that really defines who you are as a person. And
no, it doesn't. It defines how good he is at hiding his racism. Nothing else. And how could you not know that you're just mud to him and he wants to play in the mud? Of course, y'all don't study that stuff like y'all don't research. And even if you did, you wouldn't care anyways. The only thing that matters is how you're going to treat me. They're dangerously damaged mentally, man. They're so mentally damaged that they're dangerous. They're a danger to themselves and their kids. And even call it a family. Endanger their kids all the time. And the truth is that, man, their kids should be taken away from them based on these, Child Protective Services standards. Absolute lunatics.
who he would be as your boyfriend. The thing is looking out for guys that really make a big deal that they're dating a black person. If a guy, especially in a predominantly white area, black girls looking out for black girls.
Now you see this goofball using blush, thinking that she a Becky. Like I said, they do anything they see Becky doing. That stuff is to make it look like they're blushing. Black people, we don't look like that when we blush. Just Becky obsessed.
Black girls, if he makes it a huge deal about your race, like you're the first black girl I've ever been with, and this and this, I really just think leave those boys alone. Because I really think they're just trying to test it out. That's usually what.
So all she's saying is go after the Brads that do a really good job of hiding their racism. That's her lecture right here. These are the types of advice that they give each other. They're that obsessed with Brad. Now, recently, y'all seen what happened in the UK. What is it called? The BAFTA Awards? I don't know why I'm thinking BAFTA. Is it the BAFTA Awards? Where they acknowledge the movie Sinners, and this white guy in the audience yelled the N-word multiple times. I haven't heard the unedited version of the video, but I heard the edited, and they kept having to bleep it out. So I'm assuming he kept saying it over and over again. Now, as we know, Tourette syndrome does not turn you into a racist, right? It does not turn you into a racist. Remember what Tourette syndrome is. In Tourette syndrome, this inhibition refers to an impairment in the brain's braking system, making it hard to restrain certain behaviors, thoughts, or movements. Difficult to restrain certain thoughts. So you have to have the thoughts have to be present in your mind to begin with for you to have to restrain it. While individuals often intellectually understand that a behavior is inappropriate, they may lack the immediate inhibitory control to stop. So it's like alcohol. It's like drunk people. Once they get drunk, they're more likely to say what they truly feel. That's all they're talking about here with Tourette syndrome. That's all this is. Core concepts of inhibition in Tourette syndrome. Look at this. Inappropriate comments or actions that are not necessarily obscene but are socially off, such as insulting remarks triggered by the environment. Involuntary outbursts of obscene words or gestures in 10 to 20% of the cases. Involuntary imitation of others or sounds. So you have to be a racist in order to blurt out racial slurs. You just simply lack the inhibition to keep your stupid mouth shut. Do y'all know that we all know, they came out and said that this person who yelled those obscenities had Tourette syndrome. So they're basically saying, yeah, he's a racist, but what makes him different from us, he lacks the ability to hide his racism. They came out during that award and said the exact same thing that this goofy Keisha just got up here and talked about. He just lacks his ability to play his racism off, to pretend like he's not racist. This is a cultural thing. That's just what it is. It's a cultural thing. And they still, this is, I'm sorry, the more you understand about these Keishas, the more you examine them, the more you got them under the microscope, the less likely it is you're going to date them. The less likely it is you're going to want to have anything to do with them. Okay? Of course, this system is not going to point things like this out. Like, they could become extremely, a lot more dysfunctional than they are. And this system is going to pretend like they're mentally healthy. And that's what they do. Oh, the most educated. These are the most educated and most successful. Right? You should envy, the DMT. That's most definitely what it is. I recently saw that video with Ice Cube. I had never watched that because I knew what it was all about. So I didn't even watch it. But AC recently did a video and I've watched it for the first time. I was so good. I'm sure all of y'all have seen it. But couldn't you tell in that video where Ice Cube had a plan for Black America and he was invited on this panel with like 4 different Keishas, all with this long yaki weave? They were constantly fighting him and bashing his plan, bashing him in general. They never, not one of them, treated him as a leader. None of them got behind his idea because there was really nothing to complain about. His plan was for Black America, so that included Black women. And they actually complained that Black women were not being focused on in this plan. Right? And they were DNC chicks. So, of course, what they wanted to hear was that Keishas get more than Black men. That's all they wanted to hear. And they just kept bashing him, attacking him. Watch that video. None of them treated him like a leader. And the only thing that they could have said about that was, thank you, I support this. Regardless of what, party you're with, you're willing to work with either party who's willing to put your plan into action. I appreciate your plan. Thank you, Ice Cube. They didn't even treat him with no celebrity respect, none of that. They treated him like another Pookie off the street. I'm telling you, they would not have responded. They would not have treated a celebrity brat like that. There ain't no way under the sun. So they've done this to themselves. There's a group of Black men, a large group of Black men, and it's growing, who are avoiding Keishas. It shows in the marital stats. It shows in y'all single rates, not just as far as marriage, because y'all all over the internet complaining about how single you are. Ain't nobody showing up to these mixture events and all this nonsense. Y'all doing this all to yourselves. Don't ever try to wag your finger at Black men and blame your singleness on us ever again. Salute everybody in the building. I will see y'all on the next live.